Good evening, everyone. My topic for today is on marijuana, specifically specifically the legalization of marijuana. The question is, should it be legalized? Many of us, as we grow into adulthood, are faced with the issue of peer pressure to smoke cigarettes, drink alcoholic beverages, or try marijuana in order to be popular or hip amongst our friends. The heated issue of the legalization of marijuana surfaces because of its belief of being a gateway drug with a strong abuse potential. This being said, I would I would explain what is marijuana, how it is used, how it affects the body, and the pros and cons of its legalization. Just what is marijuana? Well, marijuana is a green leafy shrub or bush from the hemp plant with a scientific name known as cannabis sativa. The drug is a psychoactive, hallucinogenic, mind-altering drug that, with the chemical makeup of delta 9 hydrocannabinol, otherwise known as THC. The plant, when it reaches its maturity, produces buds, which are ground up and rolled into tiny cigarettes known as joints or blunts. These these joints are smoked to produce a higher buzz. An alternative form of using the drug is by soaking the drug into a solvent, which is then boiled down, and it produces a thick, black, sticky oil, otherwise known as hemp oil. This form of the drug is often smoked in a water pipe or bong, which produces more and more intense high. Marijuana can also be ingested by mixing it in with food or boiling it into a herbal tea. Marijuana affects the body in various ways and has different results on different people. The drug acts on the brain's receptors and produces a euphoric feeling. It affects the mind and produces altered states of perceptive thinking, impaired coordination, disrupted thinking processes, affects learning abilities, and causes memory lapse. Marijuana is also viewed as a valuable agricultural crop and can be used to make clothing, roping materials, used as incenses for fragrances, made into herbal teas, used as a food additive. It can also be made into health and beauty aids and skincare products, and also can be made into decorative jewelry from the hemp plant, otherwise known as cannabis sativa. Marijuana is also a beneficial medical treatment option for many illnesses and diseases. It is known to ease pain and nausea associated with cancer and HIV infections, and also is used as a coping mechanism for other disabilities and other illnesses and diseases. Now that I have discussed what is marijuana, how it is used, how it affects the body, and its valuable benefits, and the use of making the many essential goods that we use on a daily basis, I will now focus on the reasons why it was later considered illegal. Well, during the Revolution in Mexico in the early 1900s, the influx of Mexican Americans heavily using the drug, and carrying it across the border prompted the passage of taxation laws, which allowed the government to have greater control and put more restrictions on what can cross our borders. The taxation laws also prompted California of becoming the first state in 1913 of passing prohibition laws to prohibit production of marijuana for recreational uses. Later in 1919, alcohol and drug prohibition laws are passed because of the lack of rectifying the constitutional purposes and because it was passed without the public knowing of the passage of its laws. The reason was it was linked to violent behavior, and the taxation allowed for restrictions of drugs from falling into the wrongful hands and help control abuse potential. It also prohibited the sale and purchase of alcohol and drugs to underage minors under the age of 21. Next, I will discuss the opposing views of the legalization, how it directly affected the crime statistics, and also the economic benefits of the state of Colorado, and the economic benefits on the state's impact of the revenue. The opposing views felt it would cause an alarming spark in violent crime. It also felt it would lead to abuse and adapting to more illicit, abusive drugs. They also felt it would land into the hands of the youth and cause a bigger problem with the drug abuse. The opposition also felt it would cause a drop in property values and increase in property damage related crimes. Well, since the legalization was passed on December 6, 2013 in the states of Colorado and in the states of Washington and 60 days later in the state of Colorado, crime statistics has shown a decline in 3 or 4 major categories. Homicides, robberies, sexual assaults all showed a decline, with the only category showing a slight increase was aggravated assault. Property damage also showed a slight decrease of 11% in the same 6-month period from the year ago since the legalization was passed. A slight drop in property values also occurred since the passage. Since the legalization, the economy has benefited with a increase in revenue. It generated a $90 million boost from the retail sale of cannabis, and also a $35 million boost in taxation revenue from the sale of recreation and medicinal marijuana. The added revenue was beneficial in helping establish educational programs, healthcare research, and substance abuse programs. The tighter restrictions also resulting from the taxation enacted same guidelines as that of liquor sales to legal age adults of 20 years or older. Also allow for the law enforcement agencies or officials to focus more on violent crimes and property damage related crimes. It also lessened the focus on adult users as a crime. This also allowed for better protection of ordinary citizens. So the numbers indicates the initial fears of the legalization has not had a negative effect as it was initially feared, and in fact has been a better solution for the drug problem in the two states who have favored in the legalization of marijuana. In summarization, marijuana was first considered legal, then later illegal because of its abuse potential and its effects on the body. The benefits of it being an agriculture crop in its early history for manufacturing essential goods to be used on a daily basis, and as a as a medicinal treatment option for many of the illnesses such as cancer and HIV infections, along with the benefits of the economy and the fact that it has not resulted in negative impact that was initially feared. All all point to the initial fears being misperceived. So what do you say? Can the passage be a can the passage of legalization of marijuana be all that bad?